Democratic Party just stole the 2024 election long before the polls opened. The Supreme Court of Colorado, in a 4-3 decision without Trump ever being convicted of the January 6th so-called riots or insurrection, give me a break, just said Trump is off the ballot in the primary. So you can't vote for him to be president. And they say other states will follow. We've seen Jack Smith with a politically motivated operation, setting up a totalitarian government. This is criminal activity in front of everyone. This is an oligarchy that's hijacked our country, setting up a totalitarian dictatorship in our face. The Supreme Court must act quickly to overturn this, but you see the incredible pressure ongoing with the Supreme Court right now by the media. They're making their move. When all these indictments of Trump blew up in their face, it made his approval ratings go up even higher. They didn't stop. So now they're moving and have been successfully in Colorado to take him off the ballots so you can't vote for him. The definition of stealing an election. This coup is not just against Trump, but the American people. This shows you what tyrants do throughout history when they're cornered and they go for broke. This is a permanent dictatorship. They're telling you who you can and can't vote for. They say they're saving democracy by ending it. Contrary to what you see on the stage, this thing is being played out before us. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the front runners in the Republican Party running for president. He said he's withdrawing from the Colorado ballot. He had this to say.
They've just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw. I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake, whether we, the people, actually have a say in deciding who leads this country. Yes, it would be easier for other Republicans like me who are running in this race to say, hey, if Trump is sidelined, there's our opportunity. No doubt other candidates are probably privately celebrating with their corporate sponsors. That's not the right thing to do. I think the most useful thing that every GOP candidate can do right now is to join me in that pledge. I'll say that I will withdraw from that Colorado GOP primary ballot until Trump's name is restored. This belongs to the people, not to the unelected Democratic cabal of judges in Colorado or any other state. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie do the same thing, or else they're complicit in what this security state is trying to do to shut down Trump. I stand by that, and I expect them to do the right thing.
The breakdown is this is a bastardization of our Constitution, Alex. The 14th Amendment was never intended to apply to anything like this. We're a country where the people of this country choose our elected leaders. That's what the American Revolution was fought for. The basic idea that we, the people, choose who we actually have run the government. And yet now it's the old world European view. It's the elites in the back of palace halls, in this case, unelected partisan bureaucratic judges in the state of Florida, in the state of Colorado this time. It's going to be other states soon that are deciding that, you know what, the people cannot be trusted to let the actual selected person govern. That's wrong. That will end on my watch. But, you know, as I heard about this, it was instantly, Alex. When somebody told me that this was happening, and I saw that in the news, I said, you know what, if Trump's not on the ballot, then I shouldn't be on the ballot. No one else should either. That's how you fight back against this, is to say that, you know what, if they're not going to try to let us have a fair GOP primary, frankly, it's not just the left, the uniparty. Many in the Republican Party want this to happen too. Let's not lie about that. Many other Republican candidates would love to see Trump eliminated. But the reality is, if that's what they're trying to do, we're not going to let them get away with that by saying that I won't be on that ballot either. That way, this is a null and void electoral result. That's what you do when there's election interference, is you call it out and you nullify that election interference right away, which is why I announced that if they're not going to put Trump on that ballot, then I will withdraw from the Colorado ballot as well. The other thing, though, Alex, is this is just the beginning of what I think is coming in the next 6 months. And, a lot of people have, will say things like, well, if you pulled your name off to Colorado, then why are you still running? Do you think they're going to let, if Donald Trump were going to be the Republican nominee, do you think this system is even going to let that happen? You've got to be living in some fantasy land if you think that's what's going on in this country today.
Well, exactly.
So
once they
fight for our country, and that's what we're going to do.
Once they start making the moves this brazen, it shows all bets are off. Elaborate on that.
Well, look, I mean, I think that it's like the equivalent of an immune system that's having a reaction to some sort of allergen to that system. If Donald Trump is that allergen, this immune system is mounting an all-out response, and it will destroy our entire system, our entire constitutional republic in its way. You have 4 to 5 trials that are slated. It's not an accident when they set these trials up for. It was designed to absolutely be in the path to heading into that general election after Super Tuesday. This is designed to keep one man out of office. They have tried every tactic in the book. Now they're resorting to even increasingly unthinkable tactics, which is what you see happening in Colorado. And I think that we are in really we're really in sort of the final stages of skating on thin ice as a country.
And by the way, Vivek, just to back you up, breaking now, California Lieutenant Governor urges Secretary of State to explore a legal option to remove Trump from California 2024 ballot. So what you just predicted is now happening.
It's literally happening in real time right before our eyes, Alex. And we got to understand, we got to get beyond the Republican Party's talking point. Frankly, the Republican Party establishment is almost equally corrupt to the Democratic Party establishment. So this isn't about Republicans and Democrats right now. This is about the continued existence of our country, the United States of America. That's why I don't sit here bashing Biden. He is not really even the president of the United States. He is a puppet of the managerial class. They're going to trot out a new puppet about March of next year when Trump's trials begin. That's exactly what's going to happen. This is all an optical illusion. The reason they're rolling out the Hunter Biden story now, the mainstream media is paying attention to it after 7 years, and the Biden documents case, is they're ready to get him out of the way, just as they're preparing to get Trump out of the way and trot out whoever their new puppet is that's going to do their bidding. That's the game that's playing out in real sight. So a lot of earnest Republicans, but good party soldiers, they're missing the point. It's not about Republican versus Democrat. It is the permanent state, the permanent government, the deep state that is actually pulling the levers of power in both parties today. They're getting Trump out of the way, and actually, ironically, they're preparing to get Biden out of the way right around the same time.
That's right.
And that's why it's important for those of us who are willing to stand for the truth, and that's why I'm in this, to make sure that we're in this to save our country.
We're in the hands of lunatic criminals. Do you think they have taken us this far and pulled all this crazy stuff and totally flooded the border, shipped in fentanyl, devalued the dollar, launched all these wars, and are censoring and surveilling everybody and coming after some people that don't agree with them? They haven't even started. They want to totally take over. They're a bunch of maniacs, and they think they can do whatever they want to us. And we think we don't have the say-so, or we just comply. They've never been held accountable. They're deviant. They want to see how much they can do and get away with. They're inverting reality. This is a death cult, a power cult, and they want to destroy. I'm going to play a brief clip from CNN. Folks, this is CNN. What are they saying? Is there more to the story, behind the scenes, than what the average person knows? This will definitely make you think. Minds have to be boggled for the ones that are tuned in to CNN.
For more on the political impact, we're joined now by pollster and communication strategist Frank Luntz, who has been getting the pulse of Trump voters for years. So the obvious first question, Frank, what do you think the impact of this ruling will be on their support for him?
It's going to be exactly what the indictments did. It's going to be exactly what the criticisms have done. Donald Trump thrives on negativity. He thrives on legal systems that try to hold him accountable. And I'm convinced that his polling numbers are going to go up. Just today, the New York Times published 6 key swing states and had Donald Trump up beyond the margin of error in 5 out of the 6. The polling earlier, a month ago, was significant. Trump is gaining. The more that he is prosecuted, the more that he is condemned, the higher his numbers go as people rally around him. And I would say to the judges, as I said to the Justice Department, you're actually making it more likely that Donald Trump is elected next November by how you are pursuing this. You don't explain the decisions. You don't put things in context. And so Trump climbs and climbs and climbs. And right now, he's beating Joe Biden clearly nationwide.
Well, for the judges would say, look, we're just going by the law without fear of favor. And I mean, but does the context even matter to Trump supporters? Because there have been. I mean, tonight's ruling was really lengthy, explaining point by point why they believe he incited the insurrection.
Trump has called out the deep state numerous times, and people don't like it. All you have to do is pay attention and connect some dots, folks.
America first. Yet the deep state and the failed ruling class are trying to resist any changes to their failed policies of the past. They believe it is their right to rule over you and to redistribute your wealth all around the world. No, thank you. No, thank you. I plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. Today's Democrat Party is held hostage by haters, absolute haters, left-wing haters, angry mobs, deep state radicals, and their fake news allies. Those people are the best. They're the best allies. To remove rogue bureaucrats and root out the deep state, Congress should pass groundbreaking reform, empowering the president to ensure that any federal employee who is corrupt, incompetent, or unnecessary for the job can be told, you're fired. You ever hear that? You're fired. Yeah. Question for him right now. Could you do that? Because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department. You don't mind? I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question? Please.
Mr. Secretary.
There are many people that have taken the red pill and they've gone down the rabbit hole. Like Neo says at the end of the Matrix, I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.